Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21. It's career mode. We're on episode 127. Still at the Giro. It is stage 14 now, so we're getting into that back end of this race where we're going to see more action with breakaways, maybe getting some sort of success, and that's a possible area for us to try to exploit. But today is the time trial, and it's tricky. It's long. It's 33 kilometers, and Sifsi, I ran at a 74, and he lost 3.5 minutes, and he's a 70 time trial. He's not that bad, so for him to be that far down is a little worrying because he really didn't have that much left at the end. So Petrov, I'm going to try a 75 and see where that gets us. Narbutas, I might try 76 to see where that gets us, but we really need to measure things quickly because all my climbers, Petrov's 38th overall. He is our lowest rated climber, and that means everybody's coming pretty fast and heavy, and so that's worrying. So Narbutas, we'll see what a 76 does, and compare these guys. I mean, you can see Petrov right now is at a deficit, but he also just went through the first climb of the day in a much better position than Sifsi, mind you. But between his time trial and mountain rating, that's not looking that great. He should be probably more highly placed than he is within a minute at 21st. Narbutas, meanwhile, pushing that a little bit harder. We'll see how that does. I mean, you can see on the flat, that's not enough. This thing ends on a descent. So do you need energy left for that, or don't you? Big question. And that's why we are ultimately trialing a few different things here. Petrov, you can see with that descent he just went through, has more left in the tank. So it looks like you probably could get away with harder than a 75 in this thing. We're going to start pushing a 76. His position has improved, though, at the second time check. 13th, 35 seconds down. Kikovchi about to set off. Let's try a 77 with him and see what happens. Narbutas definitely at a bigger deficit, but we'll check in with him in just a moment and see where he is. Is he descending yet? So see a 77. But I think the 76 not going deep enough. But again, you finish on this big climb here, but then you have the descent. It's tricky. It's tricky to manage. Okay, Petrov from 14th at 35 seconds, now 4th at 17 seconds down. Now the time is looking really good. Narbutas has finished the descent, and he is almost neutral at this stage, which is probably about where you want him. So maybe a 76 is the right way to go. Kikovchi, let's keep him at that 77. I think Gonzalez Albiol, we're going to try the 76 because that seems like that might be the right balance. +2 race day condition for him, looking good. I would love to maximize as many of these guys as possible. Okay, Petrov on the climb and still has stuff left in the tank. So, yeah, looks like a 75, definitely not enough. 76 may do it, but a 77 could be the way to go. Maybe with Martin Guerrero, we'll try that 77 again. But Petrov starting to get into the deficit territory here. But, you know, you could and should be just about done as you hit the top here, and he's just now starting to get into the deficit territory as he goes into the descent, and you really don't need that much left to finish out. You could be pushing quite hard here. 99. Heading for the line. We'll see where Petrov's time is as he attacks the line, and that is 8th. A minute 1. So you can see others attacked the climb a bit harder than he did, and he lost a little bit over that last stretch. In fact, he lost about 45 seconds to Bloom Levy, who is a half minute clear in the top time at the moment. Okay, so Narbutas hitting that climb about neutral, but I think he can go deeper. So we're going to send him at a 78. That 77 over the climb, he's about to kind of recover. Here is that first climb. And it looks like a 76 is not hard enough. So Gonzalez Albiol, let's start that 77 push. And these guys are already out on the road. Okay, so 77. We're going to try that 77. Ryabovas. 77. I think that 77 could be done. I mean, Narbutas, you could see, who was going hard throughout. We've been able to push a little bit harder. Back it off just a little bit now. This is where you need to manage things, is getting over this crest with some amount of energy left. And we are cresting now. And he's into that last little bit of energy. There you go. Now that's stabilizing on the descent. Okay, 2:49. Ouch, losing a minute and a half on that final climb. You need to save some for that final climb. Means that 77 might be going a little too deep. Still mixing it up. Still not sure. Still not sure what's the strongest. Ryabovus, 0 on his race day condition. I know that's behind my screen. And Kramen, ready to set off. And his race day condition looks good, but I don't know what it is until he actually is pedaling. We will start with the 77. It's a +4 for Karaman. +4. He is going to gain some time. All right, Kikovchi, onto the climb. I think 77 is about what we can do here because he doesn't have that much left in the tank. That's a 77 throughout. He's gone from 105th up to 35th and has gained some time since the first sector. Yellow bar is gone. Cresting Kikovchi. That is a consistent 77 throughout. He's over the top, but with the descent, there's only like 2 pedal strokes in there. Still losing that minute 20, but that's been consistent. Gonzalez Albiol, who is over the top now, was second at the final time check. What kind of time will this be for Gonzalez Albiol as he approaches the line? 18th. That's good. That is good. Martin Guerrero, push harder. You're not even in deficit territory. Ryabovus is on the climb, and that 77 is looking about right there. Let's push 78 now. Karaman, through the first time check, is 12th, 44 seconds. Gonzalez Albiol, that is 18th. Petrov is 8th. Guerrero pushing a lot harder now. This is where you can, this last sector is where you can make or break your race. A lot of time gained or lost in that last sector. Martin Guerrero had that little bit left and is able to push that little bit harder. He was 10th at the final check and is 23rd at the line, losing less than a minute. But we are seeing William Bloom-Levy just absolutely flew through that final bit. Ryabovus, attacking for the line, was 16th at the final check, is 39th at the finish, losing just over a minute. Checking back in with Karaman now for the rest of the race here. Sits 8th overall, is catching Gegenhardt, and was 16th at the first check, was 6th at the second, gained a half minute. Starting the 78.
That's the best intermediate time
Into
so
the
far.
lead.
He's got to hang in there.
Into the lead, 16 seconds ahead of Warburton, 18 ahead of Bloom-Levy. Gonzalez Albiol now 4th in that, and here we are coming up on Gegenhardt now. Flying up this climb. Let's go 79. You can see Gegenhardt now accelerating. 80. Back to a 79 here. Cresting. over the top into the descent, pushing for the line. And that is second place, 13 seconds down on William Bloom Levy into that gap that nobody's been able to hit. It might not be a stage lead, but that is a fantastic time. Minute 9 lost there. Foss coming in. He is 54 seconds down. Hagita was a minute down, is 48 seconds down. Pogacar, we are gaining on all of these guys. Pogacar is 6 seconds behind us. We gained just a little bit of time there. Yates from third place is a minute and a half. Big gain there. Almeida, 18 seconds down. He is 5 seconds behind us. Bernal, 21 seconds down. Karaman is the best of the contenders, second on the stage. Fantastic result. He gains a small amount of time on a few guys. Almeida, Pogacar, Bernal, all putting in really solid times. But then it falls off. And we gain anywhere from a half minute to over a minute on most of the contenders in the overall. We only gain one place, though, because we lost that big old chunk of time last time out. We would be sitting, I would say, fourth right now, if not for the mistake a few stages back. By the way, Karaman just recovered entering today's stage from what was labeled as general fatigue, which is what cost us in that stage, presumably, because it made no sense when the effort was at 82 and the rest of the team was at 75 or 77, I think they were at, and he was protected and he was right at the front. The teammates all stayed at the front. He fell back, he got dropped, and we ended up losing a minute and a half on the stage. Minute 40, something like that. Very, very costly. Today, we get some of that back. But not much. It depends on who you're comparing it to, though. There's a curse that I feel has been upon us in Grand Tours these last couple of years, where you have groupings. You have timing groupings. Bernal is clear, but Almeida and Pogacar are close. They're in a timing grouping. And then you have from Yates down through McNulty in a group of, a group that's within a couple minutes of each other. And then it falls off to Gegenhardt, Storer, Warburton, Dina, and so on. Karaman is, as we seem to always be, at the back end of a grouping. Now, we are ahead of McNulty. We're not last in the grouping this time, but we're at the back end of a grouping. And we've seen it so many times in recent Grand Tours. I guess we're talking about a small sample size. It's only the last few Grand Tours. But we've been at the back end of these timing groupings. Will this one be different in the stages to come? We have 7 remaining. As for the rest of the team, we are still in that backwards contention of Martin Guerrero, Riabovas, and Gonzalez Albiol, all at the back end of the top 20. Probably far enough back to get into a breakaway. Late enough in the race that breakaways could very well hang on and win a stage, or possibly contribute late in a stage to help your leader by coming back to the group, depending on circumstances. But also just far enough back that if they win by 5 minutes or 4 minutes and some of the leaders in the top 10 struggle and fall back and lose a couple minutes, they could see themselves jump back into the top 10, as we've seen in the recent Grand Tours through the opposition, where half of the top 10 were those kind of riders. So could a Martin Guerrero, Riabovas, or Gonzalez Albiol get into a breakaway in one of these stages coming up and gain some time? We'll look for that as an option. Stage 15 is the first of a set of mountain stages, but today is our particularly important one because we set into a new week, a new big drop in fitness level, and a lot of the riders fatigue climbing rather rapidly, and then we have a rest day tomorrow, so you would think that's going to reset. But today is expected to be a fairly hard stage. Now, as I suggested, I was able to get a rider into the break, but that was a rider who did not do particularly well and actually just got himself dropped, and don't know why he would fall back on his own and try to fall back to the group. He's intentionally going back to the group when he had enough. Okay, here's the thing. It took 4 attempts to get the breakaway formed. And I got Ryabovis into the breakaway being involved in all 4 attempts. So he was pretty tired compared to the other guys. But they were getting through the climb just fine. I had him on auto so that I wouldn't have to worry about him in the break. And he sat up. He sat up. Are you kidding me? Now he's in no man's land, 2 minutes behind. We've got him recovering some time. But this is... It's appalling behavior by the AI. That I worked so hard to get him into the break, and then he literally just sits up and lets the group ride away from him. Okay, 79 Mountain, he should be able to catch up relatively quickly, and yes, in a very short period of time, he's gained 30 seconds on those guys, and really didn't have to dig that deep, but this is going to make it that much harder, and they don't have a huge breakaway by any means. Maybe this is not the day for the breakaway to get something. Maybe we do need to screw it. Get back to the group. I don't think the breakaway is going to win. For one thing, it just got weaker with Ryabovis setting up, but...
The pack is increasing its work rate. Some teams can't be happy with the breakaway.
Serve your energy. Petrov falls.
Somebody's come a cropper in the pack. Thank goodness everyone else escaped unhurt.
All by his lonesome. On the flat. Barely off the back. Get up there. Get up there. 102k to go. It's a good time to actually get water a second time. We got it right before the climb. Wow. We're going 90 here and he can't catch up. Flat rating, 60. Ease off a little. Barely, you're going to need that climb to catch back up to these guys.
Given that the pack has increased its speed.
Such bad luck. Such bad luck. Or really just such bad riders on our team. Are we really that bad off? Could be. 90 effort and he could not make up the ground, the short distance to the back end of the peloton. Now we hit the climb and he'll instantly catch up, and does. Okay, hand up, get that water, and go forward. Ryabovis is back and dropping way too rapidly. Oops. Petrov has the water, but does he have the energy to get back up here and contribute? Okay, Ryabovis back in position. Go ahead and sit up, and let's check in with Petrov. Over the top.
Uh-oh, a leader has fallen. We can only hope that it doesn't have any impact on the outcome of the race. Watch out, a team leader is
Petrov,
falling
new
behind.
assignment for him, or is he going to ignore it? Grunewagen, Zigar, and Castagna. Zigar has a 79 mountain, but these guys have wiped us out.
The breakaway is not to everybody's
I
liking.
told them
The
to come
Peloton has
back, and they're
significantly
not.
increased its speed.
They ignored the order. They ignored the order. That is awesome. Thank you, game. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're not far off the back, but this is still a waste of energy. This is still And you know what? Let's get Sifsy. Sifsy, get out of there. Okay, now Sifsy, go get water. Ramen, come on, find your way through, find your way through. Or not. They're all making their way through just fine in Karaman. Karaman can't get through the pack. They're all still tight as a group, and he's back here.
Percentages that the strongest can create some gaps. They really are moving. The pack can't get strung out too far, or it's going to start breaking up.
Sifsy's making his way through after going back and getting water. There's not going to be a split here. We'll be fine. Sifsy's out of red bar, so he's not progressing very quickly at the moment, but we'll hit the top here, and then he'll recover on the descent. And get forward on the descent. Just don't get dropped here. Don't get dropped.
The pack is going to have to react. The pack is increasing its work rate.
Oh, now it's a 5.5 minute gap.
What,
we get out of the group and then the gap opens?
Breathe a sigh of relief and hope to recover a bit on the way down.
Oh, and then the field split. Why? Now Narbutas is leading the chase. The field
is down, and he's not
split.
going to be able to carry on. Let's hope it doesn't jeopardize the rest of his season.
No luck.
Falling behind. A team leader is falling behind.
Now this was effort level on the Martin Guerrero split, but this group just split in half. That's good. We're not pulling the entire group back in, but oh, this is a good time. Sifsy, Sifsy, get up to number 2, please. We're on the flat. This is your territory. Okay, he's up to number 2. Swap. And bring us back in there. There's Martin Guerrero. We'll get him in the line. Keeping the line helps keep Karaman protected. Instead of just sitting. Further back the line you are, the less effort you have to give. Okay, Martin Guerrero into the mix. Let's go ahead and put him out here. And Sifsy, push a little harder. Oof, acceleration, acceleration. These guys are accelerating. They're going harder than I want them to go, but we need to make our way back up there. Who doesn't have water? Martin Guerrero doesn't. Who doesn't have water up here? Above us, go ahead and get water for 2 of you. 56k to go. Martin Guerrero. It's a small group. I don't like the idea of you being the one to go do it, though. Let Petrov do it. He's already spent. Okay, Sifsy. Sifsy has finally come in handy for something. It's not what we expected it to be. And the recovery of our leader, but we still haven't caught up because the front, they smell blood. Somebody's off the back. A contender's off the back. So, attack. Yeah. Yep, that's this game. When it's you, the AI goes full gas. We crashed, and the AI decides to go full gas. Okay, Narbutas to take over. Checking in on Petrov and the water. Yes, it's only Martin Guerrero who needs it right now, but with 51k to go, we still needed it one more time, and this is the final time. 42. Here's the 31. We're nearly back there, but Karaman is not at full strength right now. And he's lost Sifsy. Petrov's tired. Kikovchi's tired. Narbutas is tired. We are back in it, but the team has... it's come at a cost. Even Karaman is a little bit fatigued here, but we've got him back, the main guy, with most of his energy, and he'll recover a bit on the descent. We're still not all the way forward, though. Petrov. Okay, back in line. He got water to those guys. And Ryabovas got water, so we're good on that part. And Karaman somehow split off again. Darbutas finally gets forward. Just in time to have no energy left. How do we want to do this from here? Well, he's out, so Kikochi sits up in this place, not at 24. Okay, yes, Kikochi hold that position. Down to 63, so 9 riders fell off. That's a sign of how hard we were pushing, but here comes an attack. Now it's Adam Yates who's missed out. So finally, somebody else has a little bit of bad luck.
The pace seems much too high for many riders.
False attack.
Uh-oh, the gap is widening. It's now more than 2 minutes. The Peloton seems content to let it grow. A couple of teams have set themselves up as pacemakers for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway group.
Okay, keeping an eye on the heart rate, because we are still stacked in a line. In fact, the Peloton's coming back together a little bit through here, setting itself up for the final climb. We do lose a few riders finally. I'm guessing Adam Yates, did he get back on? Yes, he did. Figures. When we were off the back, the Peloton pushed as hard as it could push, making it very difficult for us to catch up. Adam Yates crashes, and the Peloton sits up and lets him back in. That's the game. That is the game this year. Really don't like what they did to the game, to the AI this year. The changes they made just really don't make the game's not fair anymore. I mean, that's what that is. Okay, Narbutas is on his own working at the front, which is not really where I want him to be, but he is fatigued to the point where he's not going to be much of a factor. Petrov has recovered. We need him to get more towards the front of this. And we're kind of already set for what is to come, so let's keep that going and get these guys all in position now. Extra protection for Karaman. He's in the line and he's protected. And we'll do that through this sector until we reach the base of the climb. Now let's check out that climb. What are we in for? The Piancavallo. Max is 10.5%. Average is 7.3, so it's pretty consistent. Easing off just at the top. 15 kilometers in length, and we are into the final descent in preparation for it. We've gotten full recovery, so you know everybody else has as well. 81 riders left in the Peloton. Skjelmos just fell.
The riders are going through a very tough portion with percentages above 10%.
Conchi. Skjelmos is further off the back compared to those guys. Is he riding? Yes, he got back up. 97 riders. 14.8k. And Karaman, what is your deal, bud? What is your deal?
And there's an attack at the front. He could go all the way.
He just keeps losing the wheel. This race, he never did this before. Martin Guerrero famously does this all the time. But not the others. 13.4k. Here we go.
The breakaway is not to everybody's liking. The Peloton has significantly increased its speed.
Gel for those two. I don't want to be off the back here anyway for this, but let's climb our
attack
pace.
is launched. The group has to break apart. 10 kilometers remaining.
11.7. We'll go as is for a little bit. Okay, we're going to go just a little bit harder now. And that's the difference that's going to push us out front. Start changing the tempo. start dictating the pace a
And
little
he
bit.
spurts away
Now
from the group.
85.
He's going for victory.
It's accelerating.
The pack is
9K.
reducing the advantage with every turn of the pedal.
Riabovis come up the line. Angel. Arbutas is gone. And the group is thinning. 65. Karaman. Momentarily caught behind a slow
Things are
rider.
hotting up at the front.
Riabovis. Go ahead and drop to the back end of the group. Kovchi gets checked up there for a second. Petrov's going to take over here in a moment. And we are inside 7K. Petrov has a great rating. He's going to go really fast. Here comes the first attack. Foss and Gegenhardt. Pogacar at the front. They are responding individually. Individually responding. Riabovis is gone.
And
Petrov
off he goes.
chasing
He's getting
down
it one
very
last go.
well.
The riders are entering the
And
last
we are
5
looking
kilometers of
at
the
a
stage.
very select group at the moment.
Falling behind. A
5K.
team leader is falling behind.
Chill up for these guys. Martin Guerrero. Go ahead and get out of the line before it's too late. And let's see if we can break toe. Petrov's done. And these guys are still away. Gegenhardt, Foss, Almeida, Pogacar up there. That's the breakaway. Oh, Bernal is up there too. Shoot. Okay. It's all Salvial. It's 4.5K. Time for him to take over. Petrov, good ride from him. Can we break the toe? No. Gel for Karaman. And Gonzalez Albiol is going to pull us back up to this group. And it's down to 8 riders chasing 8 riders. And a lot of those are those breakaway guys. Now it's 15 together with 1 away. That's Bernal. Foss, Gegenhardt, Almeida. There's Pogacar. 2.8K. Karaman, why did you decide to follow Almeida when you had Gonzalez Albiol's wheel? 2.2K. I'm gonna wait. Waiting. Okay, now we move. $1.4K. Final kilometer. Bernal going for the win. 700 meters. And we are clear of everybody else. 400 meters. We're going to sprint for the line for second place on the stage. Fantastic result there. Warburton, Hagita. We've already gained a good chunk of time. Foss, Almeida, Gegenhardt, Gonzalez Albiol, 8th on the stage. Storer. Pogacar only 10th. He's going to lose some time. Great result today. Great result. Especially considering the crash and how much we individually for Karaman, but especially as a team, spent to get back with everybody else. Because again, Adam Yates, they sat up and let him get back on. When we went down, we weren't gaining with a 90 effort, and we were not gaining. We were getting further behind. That's how hard they were pushing when we were off the back. I have 5 fingers. There's one in the middle, and this is what I want to give the field. The one in the middle. Still Bernal on top, and he's moving into the lead of this race if he didn't already have it. I think he already had it, didn't he? 22 second advantage. We had a further 11-second advantage, plus that 6-second time bonus. And then it was 46, 49, 58, 106 to Pogacar, 141, 150. A mountain stage has finally gone the right direction for us after not going the right direction within the same stage. We are back into the top 5 at 420 behind Bernal. More importantly, the podium, Almeida Pogacar, now sits within 2 minutes. Hagita is a minute ahead. That's a bit of a gap to cover. Foss, we are just 13 seconds clear. Yates is at 5:04. McNulty, Gegenhardt, Warburton, maybe getting a little too far back for them, but maybe not. There's plenty of stages yet to come. We have a rest day. We will get some recovery in. We have one sprint stage remaining. So 16 through 21 includes a time trial, one punchy stage, one sprint stage, and 3 mountain stages. Plenty of action still in this race. Martin Guerrero is 15th. Gonzalez Albiol is 18th. Riabovis is 20th. They are still in that position for the breakaway if it were to work. And today it worked after Riabovis sat up. Then the field let them get away until we crashed, and then they rode hard. And that was what kind of ruined it for the breakaway today, was our crash. Go figure, AI. Go figure. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode on Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.